activists who were out fighting fascism, okay?
With the Punk Rock Chronicles. We are in Los Angeles today. I've got my good friend Bob the Bastard.
Hello.
And we're with actually a couple of cool gentlemen. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Andrew Pescara. I'm the vocalist of Gottlieb.
I'm Dylan and I play bass in Gottlieb.
Awesome. Yeah, we first caught on to these guys about a year ago and their fucking music is amazing, so we're really stoked to be here. And I was trying to do some little digging on you guys, and I'm really interested to learn more about just where you guys came from. Mm-hmm. Did you guys grow up in the Los Angeles area, or where's your background coming?
He grew up in the Los Angeles area.
LA, born and raised.
Yeah, but I moved here from Michigan in 2019. I came to be part of the television industry, and I had no friends at all. I was just going to the punk scene out here, and I put up a flyer because I was writing lyrics. I put up a flyer looking for people who wanted to start a band and called myself a vocalist. Punk vocalists don't have to know how to sing. And so first 4 people that responded were the first members of the band. Everyone was crazy except him. And so 3 years later, he was the only one left. We replaced him with the other 2 members, the guitarist and the drummer.
Mike and Jesse.
And here we are 5 years later, 6 years later, Jesus Christ.
6 years later. So you guys came from Michigan.
Yeah.
And for college, right? Or that
I was out of college.
Out of college. Okay. So what was Michigan like? I mean, when did you start getting into punk, and was that out and out?
Yeah, Michigan. I'm from a town of 7,000 people. So there wasn't punk. I have to go to Detroit to see punk shows, and so I found the Sex Pistols and Frank Turner, and I'm from a Christian ass town that got famous for a really racist school board meeting. Like BBC World News. Mm-hmm. That's how racist a school board meeting was. And so I was singing, there is no God, there's no God, clap your hands together, in a small Christian town. And I wasn't going to be there for very long. So moved to Los Angeles to escape a lot of that.
Wow. So you're in Michigan, you're in this small town.
Yeah.
And were there any other, was there a little community of punks or people like-minded like you, or you were just isolated?
There's a college town up the street called Ann Arbor. It's where U of M plays, Go Blue. I'm still a Michigan fan, but a lot of like-minded people, but punk, no. It's a bubble. It's too safe for punk. So.
And then how did you even get introduced to punk then?
I was a martial arts teacher. And I was 19 or 18 or something like that. And a 17 or 16-year-old student of mine had some parents that were really bad role models. And he was listening to Choking Victim and Leftover Crack when he was like 14. He was like, hey, you should listen to Leftover Crack. So a 14-year-old introduced 17-year-old me to Leftover Crack. And I was like, this is amazing.
Wow. What about it, though, made it amazing to you? Like, what gravitated to that style?
It felt like everyone in the Midwest was making emo, and that was the only kind of show I saw when I was a kid, was Midwest emo shows. And I just wasn't that sad. I was fucking pissed off, Didn't know why, but I was mad as fuck. And this record was mad, and it was pointing at people responsible, the police, and problems that I saw that couldn't be solved by voting, or by writing love songs.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So Leftover Crack spoke to an anger that I had.
Yeah. Awesome. What about you? When did you get into punk?
So my parents are both immigrants from different countries, so they didn't really know what punk was at all. But like my foray into like rock music was my dad. he introduced me to like the greatest band in the world, AC/DC. So from there, I kind of just like gravitated towards just rock music in general, but punk specifically. It was my godfather. I went over to his house, and he was like an old school punk guy from Spain. Like he grew up like in the Spain punk scene, and he handed me a European copy of Punkorama 3. And up to that point, I was like pretty much only listening to like emo music. That's what I grew up on, and that was like huge in the zeitgeist when I was, prepubescent. And I put that on, and I was like, holy shit, this is sick. And I remember particularly on that compilation, it was NoFX and Bad Religion were the bands that like really caught my attention, especially like particularly Bad Religion because they have the sickest logo ever. Just the crossbuster. It's just super sick, badass, straight to the point.
It's everyone off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm gonna buy that shirt and make everyone mad at me. And then I bought the shirt, and then I wore it to school, and the principal did not like it.
Yeah.
But I kept on wearing that goddamn shirt because it was cool. So after getting put on punk like that, I just went to the local CD shop, and I bought CDs, and I would discover more bands via the liner notes. A lot of the times, like they would thank other bands. I remember this one particular instance, which kind of like shaped not only my music taste, but my love for like pop sensibility and melody. I bought a Casualties album on the front line, and I opened it up, and there was pictures of the band, and one of the members was wearing a Descendants t-shirt, and I thought that was like a cool shirt. And then I was like, well, these guys fucking rule, so I'm gonna go check out this band. So I bought Cool to Be You, which came out around that time, and that was like, they were already so old when that album came out, and I was so young, so I bought that record, and I thought it was the coolest shit in the fucking world, and I liked it. They all looked nerdy and stuff, because I didn't really dress punk.
Yeah.
I just like looking nerdy, and I saw Milo, he looked super nerdy, and that kind of cemented my love for like punk, because it has like it can look any way you want and sound any way you want, particularly Descendants, like they're very poppy. So that's kind of where it started for me.
Yeah, that's cool. And that, we can even attest the whole Bad Religion,
Right.
Cross, Line Through. I mean, I remember being like 12 or 13, seeing that, and I loved it, and I would write that,
Just look badass. It's easy to draw. Yeah.
It's like such a generational, we're older than you folks, and then still think it's still such a like-minded logo, that's so like impactful.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck you.
It's fucking sick. Yeah.
The Crass logo was that for me.
Yeah.
Which is another version of like the Crossbuster.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Well, I'm interested too to learn about, like, you said you would go to Detroit.
Yeah.
Would you go to the shows there?
Yeah, every once in a while.
What was it like that? What were the shows like there?
From comparing to where I was from, I'm from fucking cornfields, so I stood in the middle of the pit because I was like, oh, look at that. There's a place to stand. Everyone's leaving the front for you to stand. And I woke up on the floor because I was like, I didn't understand why they left space in the middle of the floor. It's because that's where people fucking wash each other. So for me, it was like life-changing. It was dark. It was aggressive, when this would have been 2013 in Detroit. So the auto fallout was like not that far off. People were fucking pissed off in Detroit. Good crust punk scene. So it was dirty, it was dark, it was mad, it was political. And it was just what I needed for sure. The few times I went up to Detroit, I was like overwhelmed. Wow. It was amazing.
I lived out there for a year around that time in Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
and
really?
We went to Detroit too. We would go to Clutch Cargo's.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that club was around when you were going, but
Clutch Cargo's.
There were a couple of clubs. But what were the clubs that you would go to Detroit to back then? And what bands did you see?
The Shelter.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw there was what's his name? Jay Navarro, who was behind the Suicide Machines. He's the vocalist of the Suicide Machines. He had a ska band and a bunch of projects that would kind of follow him.
Okay.
That was sweet. I saw them at the Shelter, which is under, I think, St. Andrews Hall in Detroit. And then there's like the Majestic, the Magic Stick, and the Masonic. And those are three different venues. But the Magic Stick, I think, was like 300 cap place,
yeah,
and you catch some touring acts and some big local acts there. Yeah, so those are the two I really remember. The rest, it's been so long.
Any artists, any bands that stick out to you that you took the trip down there to see that?
Yeah. Choking Victim. I saw a reunion tour of Choking Victim, and I was like, oh my god, they haven't played together as Choking Victim since like, since early 2000s. So I saw them, and I saw Anti-Flag at the Magic Stick. And I don't like Anti-Flag anymore for reasons that we all might be aware of, but that was
Problematic.
a little problematic. Yeah, a little problematic. Fuck that guy. But that was one I drove down for. I was quite excited for.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now, you grew up in LA, though.
Yeah.
So you're at the hub of every touring band stops in LA.
Absolutely.
So you know we're spoiled out here.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so what were some of the early bands that you saw that like hooked you?
So there's two memories that come up like top of mind in particular that really made me to be like, I need to go to shows all the time. I think this one came first. I think it was like Warped Tour 2010 or 2009. And I remember it was my buddy took me. He was like the only other punk friend of mine. We would just go to shows together. And I remember catching the Angry Samoans, and that was fucking sick.
Yeah.
As soon as they hit the first chords of Right Side of My Mind, the place fucking exploded. I'm like, this is awesome. So that was...
Was that with Metal Mike?
Metal Mike was still in it. Yeah, Metal Mike was still in it. Yeah, and I believe Todd was still behind the kit too. But then these shows to really just make my mind explode was GV30 at the Santa Monica Auditorium. It was Descendants played there, the Vandals played, and
Black Flag.
what is now known as Flag. But they called themselves
yeah.
Black Flag. It was Steven, Bill, Keith, and Chuck, and they just played the Nervous Breakdown EP, 8 minutes of insanity, and no one knew that they were going to show up. So me and my buddy were like, what the fuck, like this is crazy. Yeah, but it was interesting, my introduction to everything, because I was watching, with all respect, the old fart bands. That was like my introduction. Those were the shows I went to, I wasn't super ingrained into the local scene growing up in the South Bay. Like, it has like a history, like that's where all those bands came from. But when I was growing up in Torrance and stuff, a lot of venues, like there were no venues for bands to play. A lot of them were like house parties, but Torrance isn't what it used to be. So now the cops would roll through and shut down the house parties so quick because you got like NIMBY people or people that just can't deal with fucking noise. So a lot of my early experience wasn't so much local shows, but more already established acts, like legacy acts, for sure.
So you came out here as a transplant.
Yeah.
You grew up here. How did you two meet?
I put up that flyer that said, guy with no musical experience and lyrics is looking for band members. We had two guitarists respond, and we needed a bassist because the worst guitarist didn't want to play bass.
Many such cases.
And so one of the guitarists posted on Reddit, and he happened to be on Reddit and had nothing better to do.
I happened to be shitting at the right time, at the right place, where I came across that post. Yep.
So every milestone of this band has had Reddit involved, which is a shameful sentence.
Extremely embarrassing, but really of the times.
It worked out. And you've stayed consistent together ever since, even though you've had some revolving numbers.
Yeah.
So you guys just hit it off right away creatively?
No,
No.
not at all.
Yeah, I love
No, we did not.
In some ways. I mean, yes and no. It was a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It was a lot of bad shit.
It was a lot of bad shit. It was a lot of like getting together and rehearsing the same 30-second riff and then getting like belligerently drunk and hanging out. And be like, that was great. Yeah. And then next week do it again and play that same riff again for 30 seconds and get drunk and be like, pat ourselves on the back like, we're awesome. Yeah. So it was a lot of that in the beginning, but eventually, we started cooking actual shit up.
Yeah.
How long before you guys were able to put together enough material and felt confident enough to do a show? And what was your first show like?
Well, we didn't play a show until
Like
2 years
like
after
a year or
we got
two
together.
after we got together.
And it was because the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And we were ready to play shows, but it was 2019 and then into 2020 we had shows booked. But once my partner was on the front lines of COVID. And so I was hearing stories of people begging her for their life. And like a lot of people now, the punk scene was amazing during COVID. It was amazing. Like the best punk that's ever happened in LA during the pandemic. It was amazing. But people did die during this. And so we made the decision not to play during the pandemic, which...
Was the good moral choice and the practical choice? We would have sounded like shit if we played those shows.
Yeah, we would have sounded awful, but people were dying, and so we decided not to. It wasn't good. We didn't think it was good for the community, and so we didn't play until 2021 in Grand Junction, Colorado.
Our first show ever was out of the state.
Yeah, some dude wanted to throw us in a skate park, and we went out and played it. No one knew who we were, and there was like 100
Drove
kids.
1 million miles in a Toyota Prius.
Yeah.
Wow, you
Yeah.
drove there.
Yeah. We drove there to play about 15 minutes because that's all the material we had.
Yeah, and it was like 100 kids there. It was
100
good.
kids, and they fucking loved it.
First gig was, you had 100 kids for your first gig.
Pure stroke of luck. It's
Yeah,
like,
it had nothing to do with us.
it's because those
Nothing to do
kids,
with
like that's what really made me open my eyes and be much more appreciative of the scene that I have here. Because Grand Junction, there ain't shit there.
Yeah.
So those kids see a gig, they don't give a fuck who's playing. Like, we're gonna go to the gig,
Yeah.
whether this band sucks or not.
Yeah,
That's
And
awesome.
they did come out. Yeah.
So much merch. They were wanting autographs and pictures, and we go back to Grand Junction every year
Yeah.
because of that.
Yeah, and there's still kids out saying like, "Oh, I saw you at the first gig or the second gig." Like I remember, like so many kids were coming up to us saying they're gonna go to college and they wanted us to sign their skateboards or shit to hang it up on their dorm room. Like it's like this is our first show ever, and you know,
That's pretty cool,
yeah, it's
though.
crazy.
Were you already known as Gottlieb at that time?
Yeah, we've only had the name, horrible name, but
Bad
only
name.
the name.
Hate that name.
So, just to get that out of the way,
Yeah.
can you tell me why and what the background, the history story is behind
Andrew
it?
loves pinball.
No.
And the manufacturer of the pinball
No,
machine is
that's
called
all
Gottlieb.
not true. That's all not true. That's all not true.
But he likes to think of another story because it's not as impressive. Which we can share.
MK Ultra was a program that was run by the CIA, in which they gave a man named Sidney Gottlieb $3 million a year and no oversight to discover mind control. He couldn't do it because that's not possible, but he dosed people with LSD at vast amounts. He gave them uppers and downers at the same time. He did all this crazy torture shit to them. I think he was either worked with Nazis or was a Nazi during World War II. And he was also a vegan, which is kind of weird. But we just thought he was sort of a dead Kennedy's like figure for a reminder of what this nation does behind closed doors when we don't catch them. So we named ourselves after him. There's a great NPR piece about him called "The Torturer in Chief," which I recommend.
Well-
Sidney Gottlieb is his name.
So you don't like the name?
It's horrible.
It's awful.
Horrible.
No one knows how to fucking pronounce
No one
it.
knows how to pronounce it. It's really bad for SEO. It barely looks good on a shirt, and the
It
hallmark
doesn't
of
look all good on shirt at
like
all.
you know,
You know what though? It's interesting though, honestly.
it's interesting for
and,
sure.
because it makes you think like, what the fuck does that mean? You know?
Yeah.
If you don't, you know, and,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I mean, I thought it was cool, but
Well, the scent of a skunk is quite distinct.
Yeah.
It still
Yeah.
smells like
And then
shit.
kids come up and ask Andrew what it means, and he starts talking about Sidney Gottlieb. He's like, "Okay, I'm out of here." Yeah, it's like whatever.
This guy's fucking.
Yeah, I mean, we're lucky it looks all right on a shirt because if your band name doesn't look good on a shirt, you're not gonna go anywhere.
You're done, though.
Yeah,
what made you guys even want to start a band? I mean, how long have you been playing bass?
not long at all. I picked it up when I was like 20 years old. I grew up with zero musical ability, had no sort of training. It was
Oh, hold on. What about your one band?
So the reason I picked it up is because I wanted to do something with. I already liked to drink beer with my friends, but I'm like, well, what if we do something while drinking beer? So we
Bold.
yeah. So me and my friend Kevin Yu, hey there, I called him and he's like, hey, you should buy a guitar, 'cause I'm gonna buy a bass, and we should just play Ramones songs together. We didn't have a drummer. He's like, that sounds stupid, but I'm super down. So he bought a guitar and I bought a $50 bass. It was a piece of shit, still have it. And we would get together and drink beers and learn Ramones and Germ songs. And then after we got semi-competent, which was not that much, we called up one of our mutual friends. He played drums in the high school jazz band. He didn't know shit about punk. So I called him and said, hey, Cameron, do you want to start a band with me and Kevin? We're going to play Ramones and Germs covers. He's like, I don't know either of those bands. He's like, well, do you know what punk music is? He's like, no. It's like, awesome. Well, you want to join? He's like, sure. So me and my friend Kevin were really obsessed with the hit TV show Trailer Park Boys. So we named ourselves the Rock Pile. And I just wrote songs about Trailer Park Boys episodes and try to rip off like the musical style of whatever band I was into. So we wrote a couple songs. They're all really bad, and it's a shame that they are actually released and out there because I do vocals on it. It's really bad. We recorded everything live. I wrote half of those songs in about 30 minutes while sitting down. It's
They
not.
had a show where he at his parents' house where he
No.
charged his own
It's our
phone.
other guitar. It was our other guitar player's house, and we charged his dad cover to get inside the show. And we were selling beers there. We sold it to our own friends and family members. No one paid for the beers, obviously. And yeah, we. That's kind of where I got into bass. But before that, I had no experience. Never thought I'd play in a band. Really, I just did it to hang out with a friend of mine. Not even him, another friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't become friends until we started talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
So we were already 3 years into
Yeah, we were bandmates first, then friends after.
Yeah, and then we started watching wrestling. And we were like, oh my god.
Yeah,
we're
it's like,
together.
yeah, and here we are.
How did you get into music playing?
I was just listening to music, and there was the same thing that drove me to go into film, drove me to do music, and it was just like I wake up every day to this day in an argument with the world, because I just think
With a sunny disposition.
my sunny disposition, yeah, I see that things operate in a way that doesn't benefit anybody, and I needed a way to express it. And sometimes that was a script, sometimes it was spray painting a building or climbing something I shouldn't. And that day, it was needing to yell lyrics that I'd written. And so that day lasted 6 years, and 7,000 miles, and 18 trips on a tour, and whatever, like, you know, so here I am.
Nice.
And there was something in me I needed to express. That's this profound anger and disgust with the way things are.
I guess that's the beauty of playing punk. It really doesn't matter, you know? What
Yeah.
you sound like.
Yeah,
Totally.
totally. It matters how raw you are.
Yeah.
Arthur, there's a microphone there. Go. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters as long as you're being honest. You know? And the crowd can detect a performance from a mile away. If you're performing, they don't want it. You have to be honest and raw to connect.
That's what I like about it. I think the most, like, a quote I think about a lot is Peter Hook. He's like my favorite bass player ever. He had a quote about Ian Curtis's voice. He's like, yeah, Ian and Barney from New Order. Like Ian and Barney, their voices sound like shit, but it doesn't matter because there's genuine emotion behind those voices. So you don't have to be classically trained, and you can still convey emotion and shit that people resonate with. So that's why punk music is the best kind of music.
You did a lot of writing, you said before, music.
Yeah.
Do you feel it's a little more cathartic to sing the things you've written or just to have them published? Or is it just an entirely different process and feeling?
It's both. Yeah, it's both. I have to write because I'm an overthinker. I have analysis paralysis. You know, I overthink things all the time. That's why all the lyrics that we write tend to get rewritten like 10 to 50 times each song. Every word is very intentional. But the performance of those words is the opposite. I don't think about whether this is going to break my leg. I don't think about whether I'm feeling cold water poured on my head. I don't think about how high I am or how far from the stage or where we are in the song. Completely present. And so it's the opposite. It's like totally spiraling into overthought and conspiracism and whatever in writing it. But the performance of it is just lizard brain, you know? And that balance to me is just what I need to stay functional. Yeah.
Now, how do you feel on stage? Like, do you find that to be an inspiration to you, or are you in your own pocket?
I'd never pay attention to Andrew, really.
Yeah, you're in your own pocket.
No.
Yeah, he's kind of doing his own thing. I'm just like playing. I'm having fun. Yeah. I'm not as butthurt as Andrew. Like Andrew,
Yeah,
he
just
like
generally.
Andrew resonates like butthurt energy, which
Oh, yeah.
I just don't really have.
Yeah, you got to have butthurt energy.
Yeah, you have to. That's why I'm not the front person, because I don't have that much butthurt energy. I get butthurt like everyone else does, but not enough to front a band.
They want me to write love songs and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah, write about chicks and drinking.
I keep us punk. I try to keep us punk, you know.
How'd you guys start building your following? I know you guys have a pretty good following out here, and how did that start organically growing?
Oh, it's like, yeah, it's an amalgamation of luck and tenacity.
Yeah,
You know?
luck and a refusal to go away.
Yeah.
Just don't go away. Keep trying. Keep learning. Scarcity is one song that's the song that people, if you know us, you know probably that song. and it just popped off one day. I just posted it right before we did our second EP, and it got like 1 million views in a week. And every time we post it, it gets like 1 million views. People just fucking like that song. So it started from there, and then we released the album, and people saw that maybe we were doing more stuff like that. And we kept playing shows, and kept showing up, and they kept showing up, and it just, one day we turned around and there was actually people here, you know. But we were playing empty bars this time last year.
We played empty bars on this tour.
We played empty, yeah, like Lincoln, Nebraska, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that's the reality of being.
And we will play empty bars until the end of time.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you play empty bars and one day they're not empty.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. So that's cool. Like, you guys ended up, you know, sounds like, you know, social media, something popped off. And I think a lot of bands they get a lot of like recognition, or like you see a song and it just goes viral. All of a sudden the band's just like getting tons of attention, which is cool. And I'm happy that happened for you guys, you know. Because it's hard. There's so much competition out there, and that's not like competition, but there's just a lot of bands and a lot of, you know, short attention spans, you know, and it's hard to get noticed.
Yeah,
it's oversaturated for sure.
Because you guys are so focused on the content, the lyrical content, the message you're trying to convey through the music and lyrically, how's the feedback been? Are people enjoying the music, the lyrics, both? Is there a focus on one or the other when you get feedback from your fans?
When we get feedback, it tends to be, we get a lot of death threats, which I'm quite proud of. It means that we're saying something people have an opinion about. Yeah. And if you're not saying something people have an opinion about, get the fuck out of punk. Get out of it. We don't need you. Put the microphone down and let someone pick it up who's going to say something, you know? So if someone doesn't have an opinion about what we say, we'll stop. But people tend to talk to us about the message. I think the music pulls them in, but there's so many good musicians out there. A lot of good writers too. But we tend to hear about the lyrics. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think the interesting thing is the ones that approach us about the lyrics are mostly the ones that hate us, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think they, you know, you pay attention, or your ears prick up when you hear something that maybe you don't particularly like. You know, hate gets a lot more attention than positive stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why like scarcity blows up so much, because they're like, oh, you guys are just communists and lazy and don't want to work. It's like, yeah, I don't want to work. Duh, who does? Yeah. But also like that's what feeds into the algorithm, is all like the negativity. So like, I'm sure if we posted a positive song, it probably wouldn't do as, you know, good.
Well, unfortunately, that's the news media. That's where the whole if it bleeds it leaves.
Yeah, exactly.
Mentality.
Yeah. Hate sells.
Yeah. You know, so I get that. Mm-hmm. But you guys probably, based on your personalities, are feeling like when you get that feedback, you're like, we're on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, shit rules. I mean, like, as wrestling fans, if you don't get a pop, whether you're getting booed or cheered, you don't belong in the business. Yeah.
It's a kind of a sad commentary to me that you're getting the negative feedback you're getting, though. As much as you might enjoy it, like, oh, we're getting discourse, we're getting conversation started, but like, it's all negative, and that's got to be a little bit disheartening, right? Like, how can this be? Because what you're singing about is confrontational, but I can't imagine it's that for rational-minded people. It doesn't seem to.
Yeah,
out there to me.
I mean, we're the ones that get really annoyed are usually like psychos that live on their phones and on the internet, and they like have. The world doesn't exist outside of like the news that's fed to them.
Right.
So that's the majority of the ones that are the loudest that are posting shit, you know?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's also like a lot of people that completely vehemently disagree with our message, but they don't have worms in their brain yet, where they're like posting like, you guys are evil communists or whatever.
Right. There's no way for you to sum it up in a few sentences, but can you kind of outline a basic idea of what the message is that you want to convey to people, or at least the part that you feel you want to put a finer point on?
Yeah, I mean, like, broadly speaking, we try to represent the liberation of any sort of people, you know, any sort of oppression, whether it be part of like oppression via identity, like how you identify or what your identity is, or your class or your financial status or whatever, stuff that should be, you know, universally like heralded and embraced and accepted. So that's really the gist of it. That's our message is very egalitarian, you know.
Yeah.
But I think these like psychos and these idiots, they interpret it as an affront to their own like free will
Yeah.
and rights, when that's really not like the case. Like the question is like, what rights do you think we're trying to take away from you?
Right.
The right for you to fucking kill people, for the right for your police force to kill people or some shit.
Yeah.
Like really think about it.
Or the right for you to continue working to produce income for someone else.
Yeah, it's like we're on your side.
Like, you
know?
don't know that you don't need to be doing this.
Yeah.
We're talking about you. You're on our side. You don't think we are, but we are.
Yeah.
It takes a very special kind of bird to want a cage. Many Americans are that bird that want to live in the cage, that want structure. Because God forbid they're wasting their life, and God forbid they don't understand what they're doing. But they don't. They really, really don't. That makes you sound like a dick. But those are the people who are commenting. And for every one of them, there's probably 100 people who are positively understanding it. But that one person is the loudest, you know.
And
so,
they sell the most records.
and they
That
sell
one
the most
person.
records.
Thank you.
So thank you for the boo and thank you for the death threat. I'll take the death threat from the motherfucker who won't leave his basement. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You're not going to meet us outside.
Yeah.
So how's the new album being received?
Wow. Better than we expected.
Way better
Yeah.
than we expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sold out of 4 variants. Yeah.
Yeah, the album did well enough for us to tour on, which
Yeah.
was something I never thought I would ever in a million years do.
Yeah, made
You know.
money on tour.
Yeah, you know, people like come out and they want to buy the record, which is crazy. Yeah, you know,
How did you guys put it out? Did you guys?
via Quiet Panic.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
little indie label. They helped us press the record and they hooked us up with a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah. Shout out Mark and Ryan and
Yeah.
Quiet Panic. Yeah.
Quiet Panic.
But we all the artwork and recording was done in house. Mike and Chessie, guitarist and drummer, they engineered, they recorded, they mixed.
Yeah.
All the artwork right here.
wow.
And we booked the tour. We did all of it, and then they pressed it and helped us sell it and distribute it.
So how long have you had the current lineup?
3 years.
3 years
Yeah,
now?
3 years. And that's when we got serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like July 2023 is when we got serious.
Yeah, so like almost like 90% of our output is from this, you know, lineup. Like we had stuff before that was released, but like I mean I guess not output, but
No, that's about right.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. But yeah, shit got real once these two came in.
What would you attribute the giant uptick in productivity with the new lineup? Did you guys just gel better? Or is this the right place, right time?
Just experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we just fucked up a lot and like tried a lot of things that didn't work and embarrassed ourselves enough.
Yeah.
To where we finally, like 2023, it was like we had people in the band who knew how to play their instruments and weren't showing up on drugs. And we had made all the dumb mistakes of bad artwork and bad songs and saying the wrong thing on stage and pissing off the wrong person and whatever. And something went viral. So that EP did well. We went viral. We had people who wanted to do this professionally. So it was like, we have no more excuses. You know, you can't fake experience. You can't rush it.
No. Yeah.
We went through it. You know, learned everything the hard way.
You just came in your own at the right time. It was just a natural progression.
Yeah, we learned. You know.
Good.
Yeah.
Are you planning on going back on the road
Fuck yeah.
I would love
pretty
to.
soon? or-
Yeah, Florida in October.
Oh.
I just confirmed Jacksonville yesterday, and then we got the Fest October 25th in Gainesville. So we'll probably do 2 more Florida dates. In addition to those, San Diego is coming up in October as well. Got an LA date coming up I can't talk about yet, and then we want to keep going as far as we can go. So
Do you guys book your own
Yeah.
tours? You know, touring an agent or anyone? You kind of just do it yourself.
the emails, we see them.
Yeah.
It doesn't go to anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a few bands that do that. Tosca's right there talking about.
Oh, they're
doing
sick.
their own
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tours and you're it's
Yeah,
overseas and
Mhm.
you know it's all like a collaborative effort.
Yeah.
You guys help other people. They help
Yeah,
you type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, to young bands, like, I didn't believe people when they said, don't get an agent or a manager. And now that we've been on tour and I've seen financially what that's like, and not just financially, but in terms of soft power, knowing people, having been the person that booked the tour, having known the guy,
Right.
don't get a booking agent or a manager too early, because you will become dependent on them and you won't have any of your own decisions.
And face like fuck.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
we've
now
seen that.
we have the agency to
Yeah.
decide, you know.
But it fits perfectly with your message anyway.
Exactly.
About making money for other people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
At some point, you're going to need a manager if you guys get to a level where
Of course, yeah.
there's just way too much going on for you guys to
We're there now.
Okay,
It's
well,
hard,
that's
yeah.
good. But like up until
Yeah.
that point,
Yeah.
I could see why you would want to be the one steering the ship. So that's good. Are you guys the type of band that writes while you're touring, or do you have to seclude yourself away and come up with an album? You know, there's two different schools of.
Yeah, our writing process is very interesting. So, Andrew doesn't play any instruments.
Yeah.
He just writes the lyrics, and me and the other guy, if we don't really touch the lyrics, we'll like fine tune it, whatever.
I bounce things off.
I also don't play anything other than bass, so I can't write guitar parts. Chessie and Mike, they play other instruments, but we kind of stick to our own lanes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs are written when we're all in the room together. Like, we'll just jam, and they're like, oh, that sounds cool. Or Andrew will have an idea. He's like, can you make the guitar sound more like this? And he'll speak to us in like some weird lingo that we can't understand.
I have to talk through my
Because he doesn't play instruments, it's hard to, you know, he can't be like, oh, play this note or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Like, listen to this sick banjo song from 1950, and it's like, and he's like, oh, I know what you mean. And him and the drummer are like, I have no idea what I'm just talking about.
Yeah.
So I have to talk to, he's like the snake whisperer, and I have to be like, and he's like,
Yeah.
I know what he said, and then he
Right.
does the rest of it.
It's all very collaborative.
Very.
Like, it's rare that a song is written without all of us being in the room. Like, every now and then, you know, Mike, because he hangs out in his studio all the time, he'll write some riffs,
Yeah.
and then he'll send it to us like, hey, let's workshop this the next practice, and that's what we'll do. But more often than not, a lot of it, like the majority of the record was written in that studio while we were all together.
All of us.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's hardly ever, you know, one of us writing tracks and then, you know.
Yeah, you guys already writing for the next album. You guys
Yeah.
have.
As soon as we got back from tour, we took a week off, and they were like, well, we start fucking writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been slowly ramping up, but finally getting some steam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right on.
So now that you guys, I know you guys have a political edge to
Yeah.
you, and some of the, you know, you guys have your opinions on certain types of issues with like the government. You know, what kind of got you into that type of you know, activism? What really prompted you to start speaking up and obviously using music as an outlet?
Yeah. The activism preceded the music, for sure. The activism was there before the music was. Trump got elected, and it sort of radicalized me. And I was out, you know, protesting from his first administration, his first election. And so having that activity before, it's already structural, it's already there. It wasn't like we chose to be political. We were already active. You know, we were already anti-fascists. And then we became musicians. We didn't decide, oh, let's put a layer of anti-fascism on this. You know, let's make a bumper sticker. You know,
Right.
we were already doing it, and then the music happened. You know,
What were some of like the bands that you kind of looked up to, maybe even before you started to play music, that had that kind of edge to it?
Crass was big. Ozzy Osbourne had a record in like 2006 called Black Rain that was about the Iraq War. And when I heard that, I was like, whoa, I was so young, I was like 10. I was like, you can write about stuff.
Yeah.
Like real shit. That was mind blowing.
Yeah, I was always a fan of, at least growing up, like bands that kind of put me on game when it comes to political stuff. Like, I have a vivid memory of listening to Against All Authorities, Roadside Assistance, and the last track on there talked about during the, I believe it was like the Iraq War, Gulf War or some shit, where like the bullets of the American bullets were like tipped with strontium 90 or something, which causes cancer in like, so the chemicals stay in the body of the corpse, and then the corpse like irradiates like some sort of like carcinogens, you know, odor or something, which causes cancer amongst the populace. And I thought that was like insane to me.
Yeah.
So I've always gravitated a lot towards those bands that kind of highlighted the, you know, nefarious acts of certain.
In a previous interview, I heard you say something. I'm paraphrasing here, man, but it was something like, "You're not going to change the world through, you know, writing a song or a guitar riff or something like that." So, are you both actively involved in activism outside of your band and music? Do you guys participate? Are you part of any? You don't have to name any organizations, but are you out there doing things that you feel are?
I am not. We are not affiliated with any other organization.
Uh-huh.
But both of us have. I can't speak for you. I've been active. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
It transcends.
Enough said. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you guys definitely are putting.
Yeah.
You're putting your money where your mouth is when it comes to.
I saw him have an AR-15 pointed at his head.
That'll change you.
Like 3 months ago.
Yeah. Okay.
I had one pointed at me in November.
Yeah.
So.
And you wrote songs like, that deal with neighborhoods turning the tables on, on ICE and police. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about that? Where those ideas came from, and what kind of shaped?
Yeah,
the lyrics.
That was the song called White Vans, and I wrote that was about something that happened from my end of things. I was walking to get a slice of pizza with a friend. We're in our neighborhood in LA right now, and this was July 2025. The city is primed to counter ICE. They've been seeing ICE everywhere for a month, and so people are pretty ready to fight the police wherever they see them. At this point, people are fucking mad, and so the police pull up in our neighborhood because there was a package theft. It's like Amazon package theft, whatever. And so the police, instead of arresting the guy who stole the package, they take the opportunity to rip someone out of a car who had been parked illegally. And the guy is a neighbor. He lives over here. We know this guy. It's middle of the day. Rips the guy out of the car, starts pinning him up against his car and pulls a gun on him. And because the neighborhood is so primed to respond to ICE at that moment, like rival affiliations and different classes and different races and different whatever, it didn't matter. And like there was like 40 or 50 people who came out of their homes to go oppose that. And so the 1 cop car became 8 cop cars, and the 2 cops became 16 cops with a helicopter, guns drawn, police line for a package theft. And these guys who were arrested, we were able to de-arrest them and make sure they didn't face charges. They walked back into their homes. We all filmed them trying to go into people's homes without a warrant. And the word was, don't come back here. Come back here with ICE and see what happens, motherfuckers. And that's what White Vans was about. It was the question of, ICE and the police roll up, big guns on them, whatever, saying who's going to stop us. And it's like, well, if you guys are against us, if you guys aren't supporting us, really it's who's going to stop us. Not you. There's too many of us. You're not the police anymore. You're the police because we allow you to be. And if we don't want you to be, well, who's going to stop us? So it was a lot of thought that came after that incident.
That makes sense. Did you had that incident with the AR-15? Did that shape or kind of put a light more of a fire under your ass after that, or did it?
Yeah, that definitely for sure did, but a lot of it just predates it. Like both my parents, they're immigrants, and they were like undocumented for the longest time. They didn't get their papers until I was I think in high school almost. So that's always been something instilled in me, just the importance of community and action and stuff. Particularly just being around my family, knowing that I just have memories of my dad being so worried, just trying to raise us and not having documentation and stuff. So I had that already in me beforehand, but seeing that it was for sure kind of nuts. It showed me the beauty of people just coming together, and doing something and standing with one another, because it can feel absolutely isolating, for sure. But going out there, you do get a sense of community that people do care, and there's shit you can do about it, and and a lot of it is maybe people that aren't even directly affected by the shit going on, which makes it all the more important. So you got to stand up for shit that doesn't directly affect you.
We're living in a weird time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
things that would never fly in this country. You know what I mean? By
happening in plain sight.
Yeah. The people, it's either a blind eye or just some sort of they've been beaten into submission
Right.
mentally.
They want you to think.
You know what I mean? It's just easier just to roll over and you know.
Sure.
So I think it's important more than ever to have you guys, especially the younger people doing this, man. Guys like us retired. You guys, we need, you guys.
You guys paid your dues.
Well, and I can't say that on my part, whatever. I've been around, but
And
you guys are
doing more than us.
We're going to be gone soon,
Right.
and you're going to be left with the shit we left behind. And
Right.
so, doing what you're doing now, if it creates kind of a groundswell and you guys get more like-minded individuals and all the places you visit, that's obviously beneficial. But it can actually, we've seen the evidence of it on the other side. The right moment, the right person, the right personality can shape a country.
Yeah.
Good or bad. Right. So, it's, I'm just making a little commentary on what I think, but I mean, I could see the importance of what you guys are doing. And I wouldn't want you to ever feel self-important, right. But I like the idea that what you guys are doing has weight, and not just you're not just saying about whatever, weed, beer, and whatever.
Well, something that,
which is good too. I love all that.
Something that we try to really instill is it's not about one person. It's sure as shit not about our band.
No.
Yeah.
Sure as shit. They're not afraid of a punk band. They're afraid of you. They're afraid of you. They're not afraid of us. We are nobody, Yeah. They're afraid of what together we can do. And we've seen it. And they might not share on the news that the ICE agents are scared as shit. They might not share that, but they are. We've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're seeing it. There's so many people doing so much more than what we do, and it does not benefit this system to share that.
Right.
But this is not as much of a stretch as they want you to think.
What bands are you enjoying to play with nowadays, in this scene that we're in Los Angeles?
I've been digging Spunk quite a bit recently. I was late to the Spunk party because I'd seen their socials, God, I got to see those guys sometime. And they invited me out on their guest list. I was like, oh, this is a good excuse, let's go. And I saw them, these guys are fucking awesome. Spunk is sick. Hormones are great. I like Monk, M-O-N-K, they're great. Who you got?
Cure for Youth is awesome.
Yeah.
If you're into post-punk,
yeah.
I mean, that shit fucking rules. That's the sick thing about LA is there's so many different genres that you can catch any day, growing up I was super into ska, so I'd go to ska parties all the time. And but now I'm just catching any genre that I can because it's so good,
Yeah.
There's a lot of good punk shit, a lot of good indie shit, a lot of good dance shit. Just go support it.
Yeah.
There's a huge, this is what I love about LA that I just hear about because I'm an Orange County guy. The generator shows.
Yeah.
Right? The non-venue shows, the ones that just pop up.
Yeah.
The Dead City Punks and all these other guys are doing. Are you guys a part of that? Are you guys involved in that any way? Have you been to any of those shows?
Fans.
Yeah, as audience members.
Yeah.
For sure.
How are those shows for you? Pretty inspiring?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's do it yourself.
Right. Yeah.
You can do anything yourself.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's definitely it's also a case study, a lot of the times in human behavior and just what happens when you put all these pissed off people together listening to aggressive music.
Yeah.
This shit
With no rules.
Yeah, shit goes off, and it's fucking, it's cool, and it's definitely a hallmark of, I think, the Los Angeles scene,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're playing, these bands play these shows when it looks like fucking Gotham, fucking empty buildings, just, sprawling.
Yeah, we're watching that shit from Orange County and we're like, holy shit.
I know, that's
What are these guys doing over there?
Yeah.
crazy. I got blasted in the head with a firework during a Dead City show.
Yeah.
It was sweet. We were under this bridge, and I was standing on a pile of dirt watching the band from behind the stage. Someone shot a firework up, and boop, it just hits the top of the bridge, and I saw it go right down in front of my face. Just so delicate. And I was like, oh fuck! And I turned around. I turned around quickly, and I just felt fire, right at the back of my head.
Yeah. It's funny you bring up you seeing it from Orange County and kind of being disconnected from it. I think that's what makes the Southern California DIY scene a little bit more interesting because SoCal's so sprawling. LA County itself is so sprawling, and it's hard to get from one part of LA to the other part. the different parts of LA and the neighboring counties have developed their own like identity. You know, like a show or a scene popping off on the west side is going to look nothing like a show or a scene popping off on the east side of LA, just 20 miles away. You know, like Pomona is part of LA County, but it's going to look nothing like a gig in the San Fernando Valley. So it's also very interesting to see just the different crops of bands come up from such a segmented place like Los Angeles, and then extended obviously to Orange County. I mean, that goes way back, you know, like way back from, you know, the 80s where you had the LA bands and the Orange County bands just being completely different, and the rivalries that form and stuff. So, but I think the inaccessibility, not the inaccessibility, but the fact that it's harder to access some of these scenes just purely because of geography makes it much more interesting as well.
I agree.
They can't blend, really.
Yeah, I think that's why we like to go out and meet new guys, folks like you know, new bands and different scenes, just to get exposure, because, you know, it's something for us, it's interesting to learn, you know, about different bands, where they come from, what inspires them, you know, and there's such a difference, you know, like if you look at our interviews, they're so different, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so we definitely enjoy, you know, these types of conversations, you know. I guess, you know, do you want to give a shout out to anybody? Is there anybody that you want to give props to?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shout out a lot of people. Shout out people running DIY venues, for sure. It's a lot of times it's like a thankless, you know,
Completely thankless.
thing that you gotta do, but it's what these people contribute is, like, you know, you can't really quantify it. It's so important.
Yeah.
These spaces for these bands to just, you know, play, you know. So shout out the people that run DIY spots. Shout out photographers for documenting everything. Shout out videographers. Shout out people that interview, because it's you're documenting something important, you know. Like it's just on the surface value, it's just music, but you dig down a little deeper, like it's important music, you know. The messaging is important. Why people do it is important. The kids involved in it, they're important. What happens because of it is important. Like how many people get their, you know, political awakening or whatever just from listening to songs. You know? So shout out all those people. Shout out the bands putting in the work. You know, 'cause, you know, being in it, we know the work that goes into it.
Yeah, shout out the Midnight Hour up in the Valley. We've played there a couple times, and like they've just been really doing it right for a long time. And they're closing their doors in August,
huge loss to the Valley. The Valley needs venues.
They need that. Sergio, you killed it, man. You did really well.
Yeah.
Sick venue. So shout out the Midnight Hour.
Shout out to Sardine and San Pedro for trying to bring back, you know, music to the South Bay, at least in a local level.
Yeah.
Not a lot of venues down in the South Bay outside of VFW halls. So massive shout out to the Sardine. And they just started doing all ages shows recently, which is massive.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So massive.
Great.
Shout
Yeah,
out
get down to
all
Sardine.
ages venues. Like it's youth culture, you know?
Yeah.
Punk is youth culture.
That's great. They're doing all age. I've been there a few times.
Great.
It's a great venue.
Yeah, and fucking Todd is a sweetheart. He's awesome.
Flower from a corpse unseen by the light. Cruelty's a cliche, so normal. I forget it scares me, though I see it daily. A flower from a corpse unseen by the light. Cruelty's a cliche, so normal. I forget it scares me, though I see
Your
it
first national tour?
Yeah, we had our first U.S. tour in June. It was a full U.S. tour, and we did 18 dates across 21 days. I think we traveled through 26 states, something like that, 7,000 miles. It was sick. We booked it all ourselves, and we ended up making money, which we didn't expect. Seeing the response from people that are actually showing up was pretty unexpected. But then, you know, there's days where you play to 13 people in like Nebraska or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was good. It was a really good time. It was good to do it independently and get to know who's listening to our shit, who's buying our record, being able to see people first, face to face.
Right. How do you book an independent tour for the first time?
You email strangers. Yeah, you email strangers. Yeah, it's a lot of looking at bands you like from cities you don't know and seeing who they play with and reaching out to people who book shows and relying on the kindness of strangers, relying on independent promoters. And so we probably sent 50 emails per show. We did 18 shows. Yeah, a lot of reaching out, a lot of logistics, a lot of coordination.
Amazing. Can you talk about some of your more memorable shows?
The Milestone in North Carolina. Is it North Carolina?
Yeah, North
that
Carolina.
place,
Charlotte.
That place was fucking sick because apparently a bunch of legendary bands played there, and it's independent, which was cool. I think all the venues we played were independent.
Yeah.
But that one in particular was like, the vibe was super sick. The people were really cool. They had posters of like the old bands that played there, like Nirvana played there, Green Day played there. So it was just cool playing on such a legendary stage on the other side of the fucking country.
Yeah.
You know, and we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how the scene was over there, particularly in, you know, like in that part of the country, but it was fucking awesome. You know?
Yeah.
People liked us. A lot of people traveled to see us. It was great.
Yeah.
So at least for me, that was pretty memorable.
Yeah, being on the other coast and seeing people know your lyrics and buy merch is like the reason. You know, it's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Hit the road.
Yeah.
If you're a young band, hit the road.
Nice. So, any crazy stories?
Well, there was a thing with Gilman Street that got a lot more attention than I think it needed to. We played at 924 Gilman with Naked Aggression in Berkeley, and I climbed on the ceiling during our set, and the sign on the stage famously says "Don't stage dive," or no stage diving. And I didn't stage dive, and I climbed the ceiling. Security said don't do that. I got down. They shut down our set. We said thank you, have a good night, and we went and sold merch. And that we cleared it up with the venue. We were all good, but then we posted a reel about it the next day, and like for the rest of tour, we had people coming up to us saying, "You're the band that was banned from Gilman. Oh my God, you got banned from Gilman. You're the guy who had a fight with Gilman." And like, it got totally blown out of proportion. And like, still, like we lost a show in Los Angeles because somebody said we got banned from Gilman. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we've never heard that from Gilman. As far as we know, we're good. But we ended up with this like weird reputation. And we were in fucking Little Rock, Arkansas. And some guy said, "Hey, you got banned from Gilman." And that was pretty weird.
Not true.
And not true.
Yeah.
And not true. So that was kind of interesting how that just developed a life of its own, you know? Yeah. And then Columbus, Ohio. Do you want to talk about that?
I broke my nose for the first time.
You broke your nose?
I got my nose broken for the first time ever in a laundromat in Columbus, Ohio.
Laundromat, okay.
Because the venue was a sick venue called Dirty Dungarees. It was a venue, laundromat, and bar all in one. So there'd be like bands playing and just like this random person doing laundry. Like I remember like vividly seeing like this poor woman with her headphones on just trying to do her laundry while there was like hardcore music playing and people dancing and shit. That broke my fucking nose there. It was crazy. We just finished playing and I was catching the last band. I was on the edge of the pit. And then there was this youngster doing some
karate moves.
Incredibly sick karate moves. It was a hardcore band, you know, that's what they do.
Yeah.
And I don't think he realized how long his appendages were. So he completely spin kicked me in the nose with his Chuck Taylors. And I started leaking like a fucking faucet. And I was hoping it wasn't broken, but then Andrew was like, "Oh fuck, that looks broken." I was like, "Well, I guess it's fucking broken."
Yeah.
I looked really cool.
I got great footage.
Yeah, it looked really cool. It was bleeding, but then I stopped bleeding. It looked really bad. Yeah. So thankfully, though, it was a small break. I could still breathe through my nose regularly. Then I went to the ER, but they weren't going to take care of me. There was people dying in the ER. So I went to the bar to get fucked up instead, and I think that helped a lot.
Yeah. The worst part to me was like I posted a picture of it later, and people were like, "Oh, I can't believe you would do this for attention." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I did not break my nose for attention.
Like, well, I can't believe you'd be so irresponsible to bleed everywhere for a photo op. And I was like, "No, we did not do that." What are you?
Bled everywhere.
People were upset with him getting his nose broken.
Inadvertently, it sucked.
Yeah.
I would rather not break my nose if I could, you know.
Well, it's a cool picture. Fuck.
It was great. But they're like, "You did it on purpose." It was like, "You guys are fucking stupid."
Who do you think you are, Gigi Allen?
Yeah, exactly. I wish. No.
I just got spin kicked by a 20-year-old.
There's a great picture of him holding an ice pack this big on his nose while watching the next band. He was like this.
I was still trying to support the gig with a broken nose.
Yeah, at the front of the pit. It was
then the
fucking
bartender
sick.
was having like a nervous breakdown, so he probably thought I was going to sue the place. Like, I'm not going to fucking sue this place.
His name was Sterling.
Yeah, shout out Sterling.
Shout out Sterling in Columbus,
Yeah,
Ohio.
I'm not going to sue.
You're sick.
Yeah.
You do a lot of climbing around during your sets,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And that's just comes naturally, right? It's a natural inclination to do that. You ever got yourself in a tough spot?
During a show?
Yeah. You climbed somewhere and thought, oh shit.
Not during a show. Well, there was it's 1720. One time I was on top of the bar, and I told the whole crowd to leave the stage and go to the bar because that was the new stage. And I stood on the bar, and then the bartender hit me on the ankle after giving me some time to do my stupid fucking bullshit. And she said, "Get off the bar." And I said, "Got it." And so I jumped up and I grabbed a beam that was above me. I got off the bar, and like I felt someone tugging on my pants, and it was the security guard who was like pulling me down. And that's like kind of a time when someone didn't want me to be on the ceiling. When I was with the Gilman story I just told, I was at Gilman and I was like up above the crowd on a beam, and I like had security shining a flashlight at me, and I fishing lined the microphone down in front of people, and I was like pulling it up from their hands, and that was kind of the coolest moment in my life. We played a climbing gym one time.
That was awesome.
Someone invited us and paid us $1,000 to play a climbing gym in Long Beach. It was sick.
Oh, wow.
We were like, hell yeah, let's go for it.
So Andrew's wet dream.
I was like, this is dope. There's pads and shit like on the floor. And so I climbed the wall, but I think there's like a pathological thing where I'm supposed to climb things that aren't meant to be climbed. So I climbed the back of the climbing wall and got up on like the ceiling. I was like a good 40 feet up, like looking down, hanging on to beams. That was pretty scary. That's about as bad as it gets though. I've been in bad spots, not at shows, but no. Shows are pretty safe, like, generally.
Well, so when you guys went on this tour, you guys just have a van, or how'd you guys get around?
Yeah. Camera, that van right there, that white van over there, that's the one. We took that van across the country. Yeah. Wow.
90 something or other F.
1997 E350.
Yeah, we took that across the country. 4 fellas in there.
Yep.
Smelled crazy in there. It was humid in there.
It smelled like punk rock in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were ass to mouth a lot of. Is that the saying?
No.
No.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Shoulder to shoulder. A lot of the time. Yeah, it was like the first time I think in my life where like I was around the same people for 24 hours a day, 3 weeks in a row. Like, if we weren't in the van, we were in the hotel. We're in a hotel, we were in the venue. The only time we got like some like separation from one another was when we were pissing and shitting. It was kind of crazy. We got really close.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was a good time.
Nice. And how many dates did you guys play?
18. We did Phoenix, Grand Junction, Colorado, Boulder, Lincoln, Nebraska, Chicago, Illinois, Detroit, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Columbus,
Bristol,
Pittsburgh, New York, Washington, D.C., Bristol, Charlotte, Atlanta, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, Albuquerque, Las Vegas. Yeah, so we did 18 dates. And we did Gilman in the 2 weeks before that, something like that.
Wow.
And what bands did you play with? Were they kind of just local independent bands, or did you guys book any bigger shows?
All the shows we played, it was like local bands from the local scene, which was awesome.
And lower class brats.
We opened for lower class brats in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was super sick.
Yeah, shout out LCB.
But for the most part, it was just local bands and local scene, which was really cool to see because you got to see like who the local hitters are. The kids got stoked for the local bands. Yeah. Yeah, it was sick. It was really fun.
Shout out Louder Transition Collective in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And Cripple Fight in Kalamazoo. And what was the band in Columbus? It was really good. Brazilian Back Massage. Brazilian Back Massage in Columbus. Y'all were fucking so good.
Yeah, you guys are competing heavily against us for worst band name.
Yeah, his band name sucks. It's almost as bad as ours.
Nice. Any other stories? Anything else?
I'm just gonna say it. Our guitar player almost shit himself on stage.
That was sick.
Yeah, so-
Love you, Mike.
Yeah, we were about halfway through our last song of the set, and he looked visibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And throughout, there's it's like a solo that closes out the song, and right in the middle of the solo, he puts down his guitar and runs to the bathroom. And we were like, what the fuck just happened? We thought it was cool. We thought he was doing like a weird performance, like maybe,
Yeah, it was sick.
trying to do some attention-seeking behavior like Andrew does. But then we finished the song. We're like, where the fuck is Mike? And then Mike comes out of the bathroom like sweating. He's like, sorry guys, I just almost shit myself on stage. So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, that's what tour food and living on the road will do to you sometimes.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh, in Grand Junction, we booked a show at 4th Ave DIY in Colorado, and across the street at a coffee shop, they had booked another DIY show that night. The only two shows that month in Grand Junction, and they were across the street from each other, both punk rock. And so when we got to the venue, I ran to the promoter of the other show, and I was like, hey, what if we combine these shows? Like, you do your first band at 6, we'll do ours at 6:30, you do yours at 7. And so the whole night, we were able to make it so both crowds were running across the street.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
6, 6:30, and they got 6 bands just like boom, boom,
Like a
boom,
little
boom.
mini festival.
It was so sick. Like, we got to collaborate instead of compete. So both crowds were twice the size.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was sick.
Yeah, that was fun. We played the Punk Rock Museum in Vegas. That,
That
was
was cool
fun.
too.
Yeah.
It was really cool seeing all
I'm
that.
trying to think of any other stories we have.
I mean, on the top of my head.
Off the top of my head,
Yeah,
yeah, there's a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
But
Where did you guys stay? Where did you guys sleep?
we were able to. We were lucky to stay in hotels. I know it's not very punk rock.
That's where we were ass to mouth in hotels.
Yeah,
It was
we were-
2 men per bed.
No, we were not. We were ass to ass. We were not ass to mouth. And that was actually quite nice because usually you don't have the budget to stay in hotels.
Yeah.
But we were able to make enough money to do that. Which
I was
good.
sharing a bed with Andrew, and Mike and Chester sharing a bed, and I was lucky enough that Andrew has a curvaceous body, so it felt like a woman for a lot of the time.
So you guys are a spoon, right?
Yeah.
No comment. It's lonely out there.
Yeah.
Nice. Any questions?
No, I mean, I want to talk about some of the banter that you engage in on stage and with
Okay.
the audience. Do you find that when you start to engage in some banter or kind of interject in between songs some ideas and philosophies, are you getting a lot of feedback from people, like directly from the audience, or are they just sort of politely listening to what you're telling them? Like, what's the reaction like?
It can really depend.
Yeah.
I've gotten better at it throughout the years because I would just love to have a microphone in front of me when I was young and just say whatever the fuck I wanted to say.
Uh-huh.
Now it's like I kind of know how to say things in a way that people will relate to.
Right.
And that's really what it's about, is like, how can I relate this experience we're talking about to you, as opposed to just go off on some tangent, So like I'll find, like, I like to ask people questions, like, when's the last time you weren't being sold something, or I like to have fun. Like, having a fun vibe at our show is also great, because if we make it all doom and gloom, no one's gonna want to join what we're doing.
You do post your negative comments.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, the whole deal is like we get these death threats because people are upset with us, and like the goal of a death threat is to take power away from you and turn attention onto them. And so what we do is we just put them on blast, and then we don't post their name, and we get the attention on us. And every single time we post some new death threat, we
Right.
sell like 5 or 10 records. So the idea is like, you don't get to have power over us, and if you want to have power over us, come say it in our fucking faces.
Right.
Talking to you. No one's ever showing up.
Makes sense. I mean, have you had any antagonistic fans at the shows? You've had death threats, but anything face to face?
They're basement dwellers for a reason.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
Some people
Keyboard
are alive.
warrior
Yeah,
types.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking to. You in
Yeah,
my
yeah.
comment section. You stay in the comment section where it's safe.
Yeah.
I'll send you a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Has some of your experiences in that venue, that area of your your shows and everything, is that fueling your new album and the material you're writing now, or do you guys are you staying in the same direction? Do you guys have anything going on that you feel is an evolution or maybe a little bit of a change?
It's so hard to think about. Like,
Yeah, we're looking like the nascent stages of the new record, so everything's very like conceptual and abstract right now. Right now, where it stands, it seems to be like a more continuation of where we left off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still a lot to say,
Right.
and just like, a lot more to put out there.
great.
That's not to say it'll stay that way. Like I said, it's a very early stage of the record. That's kind of where we're starting. It's our starting point.
Yeah.
And and this band is all about starting somewhere and ending up somewhere completely different. So who knows?
Yeah, I think the last record, The Far Fallen Fruit, ended with the last two of the last statements were, "Are we gonna be a day late and a dollar short, waiting to be pushed?" And then we closed with the line, "I'll see you out there on the street in the present day." So, as much as I can be sure about lyrically, the last record felt more like we were talking about, like, an analysis of a cadaver. What killed this fucking country? It's looking backwards. I think the next record is going to be more about the present. What is it like to live in a moment, in this moment that's very uncertain? What's it like when tear gas goes off in front of you? What's it like to be pepper sprayed? What's it like to not know if you're going to make it home, or to know, or to see someone get taken? It's be more present based. What's the present resistance? Not what happened in the last 10 years. Not looking back.
I feel like that's what really made early street rap kind of relevant, because it was a commentary on current events.
Exactly.
Early punk was a commentary, it was a reactionary thing to what was happening around them. It wasn't necessarily a reflection on what happened before, and it wasn't a eulogy, right? Because that's defeatist. It was more of just a commentary of what's happening. And some of it was accusatory, like, you know what I mean? There were people getting called out, but a lot of times it was more just, this is our reality.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's where I'm lyrically so far, that's where I'm leaning, is like less how do I explain this thing that happened to me, or this thing that happened to the country, or happened to someone I know, and more, here's a moment where I was in the street, or someone I know was in the street, and they faced a situation where they could die. What thoughts were going through my head? Why am I out here? Why I want to go home? I want to see my mom. Like, I want that kind of shit. Put them in the moment of being an anarchist or an anti-fascist. That's the barrier for entry. If you're not on board with that by that point, you can't listen.
Well, that's the thing. I would imagine, not being an artist myself, but I would imagine you want the material you're writing to stand the test of time and still be relevant 5 years, 10 years down the road, where someone can revisit it and it doesn't feel dated, right? And so you guys have a way of saying things that is, you're capturing a moment, but it's also something that could be, it's universally relevant over time, right? Like, these struggles aren't going to end in 2027.
I hope they do.
Yeah, we all do, right? But
I hope they do.
But people could probably take inspiration from what you're doing.
Right.
That's probably the challenge from your point of view, is to convey it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can still feel comfortable singing and playing these songs 10 years down the road, right? Is longevity part of your thought process?
For my artistic process, not really. I think there's value in longevity, but there's also value in capturing a certain moment in time.
Yeah.
Just like any other art form, like literature or movies or whatever. Not everything has to stand the test of time, but if you like listen to a song, read a book, or you watch a movie, anything of value like that can transport you to that space and time and really make you think about what it was like to be in that moment as well. I mean, that's the way I think about it. That's not, not to devalue, the longevity argument at all. But I think the way we write, at least, we're more focused on the current moment than how is this going to sound like 15 years from now to the listener or whatever.
Yeah. I think it might be an interesting time to be transparent about an intention from the last record. You were thinking about longevity. A lot of the lyrics of the last record, of like Pipe Bomb and Sugar Packets, for example, were written as if it was the last time I was going to get to write a song. And it wasn't necessarily because I expected that. It was because that was the urgency with which these issues are hitting. It doesn't feel like we know who's going to be here tomorrow.
Right.
It feels like we're on the verge of a revolution or the end of an empire, which is great and exciting. People die in these things.
Right.
And so a lot of those lyrics weren't written to stand the test of time. A lot of those lyrics were written to say something that needed to be said while I knew I could say it. And the next record was going to be less certain because it's more present based. but those lyrics weren't necessarily written knowing I'd still be here, or that we'd still be here, or that these people would still be here, because resistance is very dangerous and scary. So I don't know how that answers your question, but I hope it reframes the record.
No, it does, because my curiosity was it generally was your thought process on what you felt about your songs and what the impact would be beyond tomorrow. You know what I mean? So the fact that you're not thinking about that sounds like more of a snapshot
Absolutely,
of
yeah.
where you're at right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I get
It's
that.
urgent. It's got to be urgent, you know?
Some of the songs you've written, like Scarcity and like different songs, do you have a favorite? Is there something that resonates with the two of you?
Like favorite, just like that we've created.
Yeah, like is there a song that you guys feel the most in tune with, proud of,
Fun to
play, anything? Yeah.
I mean, I think those are two different things. I think Scarcity is a pretty monumental moment for us. Not because it's our most popular song, but because I remember just being in the rehearsal space with the guys at the time, and that kind of just came out like super naturally.
Yeah.
Like
So easily.
Started off with like the bass thing in the beginning, and then that built onto something else, and then Andrew, monologuing and the drums coming in. It felt like for the first time, it felt like, oh shit, we have like some creative chemistry here, and that was really cool because I've never written a song nearly that good like ever in my life.
Yeah.
And it's even cooler that it's like stood the test of this band's short lifespan so far. But I definitely fucking understand when bands are tired of playing shit from the first record. You know?
Yes, dude.
Yeah,
So-
it's like I get it. You know,
Yeah.
like it's like. And I'm guilty of that myself when I see bands I like. I'm like, yo, play something from, fucking the first EP or whatever. Like, please, that was 15 years ago.
Or like at the beginning of every set, everyone's like, okay, we're ready to start. And I go, in the 1930s. And it's like, going into this monologue, that fucking gets old.
So as
The
much,
song is so out in the algorithm, though. Like, that's how I found you guys.
no,
I
exactly.
was like, what's this?
It's so weird because it's such an inaccessible song because it demands so much of your attention span and patience for the song to start.
Yeah.
So I was extremely surprised. Yeah, I was extremely surprised for like that song to pop off because the music doesn't really start for like a minute or a minute and a half. Like, it finally starting to sound like a fucking song. So that was really surprising. But I'm glad people like it. I mean, as much as I complain about playing that song and all that shit, I love it. I mean, it's our song. Like it's one of our flagship songs.
Yeah.
Definitely not my favorite to play live, but I'll play it live until I'm dead.
Yeah,
for sure.
Pipe Bomb is my favorite. It just, those lyrics were just like at a time where like, rarely do I have a set of lyrics where they just like fall out, just like onto the page, and those ones kind of did. I revised them several times, but Mike had this riff and I had those lyrics, and he tried the riff and I was like, fuck a cadence, fuck a rhythm, I'm just gonna scream. There's nothing more dangerous than me in this world right now. And it just fucking came together. And I remember the feeling of listening to that demo the next day. And I was like, this is aggressive. And every time we play it live, a water bottle gets thrown or a shirt gets ripped or someone dives into the crowd. And I fucking just like, that song for me is just this raw, like, expression of life and death. It's so cool. I love that song. Pipe Bomb's sweet.
Yeah, I think for me, my favorite one is probably City on the Hill to play. That one's really fun.
Yeah.
It just sounds like very like primitive and rudimentary, and then it just kind of blows up. It's
So
chaotic.
aggro.
It's very fun. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very weird song, but it's fun.
I usually get the most hurt during that song.
Yeah, it's very, it's
Yeah.
great.
Cool. Right on, man. Well, fuck. Thanks for meeting with us.
Of course, yeah.
And looking forward to.
one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
On tour, I forgot to mention this. It was the first time I've ever seen a fucking Confederate flag outside of my TV screen. Holy shit! I didn't know.
what?
Yeah, because you're in LA, you don't really see them too often. Like
When do you ever see a Confederate flag in
But I
LA?
remember driving through the fucking boonies of I don't know where the fuck and seeing these giant Confederate flags.
South Carolina.
I was like, holy fuck! These people are actually flying this shit loud and proud. It was insane.
You were stoked, dude.
I was like, oh fuck,
Dylan.
It was like seeing a cryptid, like the Sasquatch. It's like, oh shit, it's like right there. It was fucking crazy.
Dylan has this ironic right-wing thing he does where he loves football and wrestling and just like he saw the Confederate flag, he was like, hell yeah, brother.
It was fucking nuts to see. It's like these guys are lunatics.
It was fucking funny.
It was crazy. It was like the week of the 4th of July. So I'm like, you guys are losers. You guys are waving the losing team. And I get it. I'm a Raiders fan, so I wave the losing team flag all the time. I understand. But you guys lost 250 years ago.
Yeah,
or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know.
200 years.
Yeah,
ago.
whatever.
So-
Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about not standing the test of time.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
flag.
Yeah, this year on tour, Dylan had his first snow and his first Confederate flag.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The two
Yeah, you're
whitest
talking about
things
the
on earth.
Confederate flag and not the snow.
When he saw the snow, he was like, "Oh!" We passed the car that was parked on the street, and it was we were in Tacoma, and it was snowing. And we passed a car on the street that was covered in snow. I'm from Michigan, so I'm used to snow, but he sees this thing covered in snow, and he goes, "Ha ha! That idiot's car is covered in snow." So, yeah, that's what happens. He was like, "That dumbass."
Yeah.
It was so funny.
That's awesome.
Anyways, the Raiders are going to win a Super Bowl before the South ever rises again. So fuck you.
That's true.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Right on, guys. Well, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Fuck Hulk Hogan. Fuck
Yeah,
Hulk
fuck
Hogan.
the whole-
Protect finishers.
Yeah.
Put over young talent.
Brett screwed Brett.